very interesting about the contemporary progressive movement. There's the assumption that people, ordinary, real, normal people in Canada are all reactionary and hateful and lacking in compassion and empathy. The opposite is true. We're a good people here. Canadians are a good people. But sometimes common sense just screams to be heard. Now, this should not be about sexuality, not about being gay or straight. This is about transgendered. And the terms, the terminology, the semantics change on a daily basis. In this case, though, this is about a woman wrote a letter to a newspaper, the Toronto Star. She said she went to a washroom and there was a man there. He had a penis. Sorry, I said that word. But claimed to be transgender. Thus, it was okay if he was in the washroom. The penis was erect and he came on to her. And she wrote a letter of complaint. The Ontario Human Rights Commission said, no, you have no right to complain. This guy has a perfect right to be there. Barbara Hall used to be mayor of the city and then I think became babysitter for George Smitherman, the failed mayoral candidate. Wrote a letter, said, in such situations, transgender persons are more at risk than anyone else of being harassed, abused, assaulted or even killed. And as you know, there have been millions of transgender people murdered in the past couple of months alone. I'm not sure how to react. I want to be compassionate. I've interviewed all sorts of people who feel they're in someone else's body, and I believe they need a great deal of support and help, but not surgery and not silly saccharine reactions. Tanya Greenwich-Allen, Campaign Life Coalition, we're not being cruel here, but a washroom is for someone of a specific gender. The people who use that washroom, particularly younger people, have to be protected. This is a man. He has a penis. That's a pretty good working definition of being a man, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, everybody knows if you have man body parts, use the men's bathroom. If you have lady body parts, use the ladies' bathroom. It's pretty black and white to me, Michael.
And that was Sesame Street for today. Yeah, it is. It's children know this.
Well, my children, I have 3 kids. They know it. In fact, my son today was saying, oh, I can't go there. That's for the girls. He's very specific. And I didn't specifically teach him gender identity. He knows boys and girls things. So, of course, as a parent especially, I'm alarmed when I hear the Ontario Human Rights Commissioner saying that, we need to be more sensitive. What about the sensitivity to children? How do I know some lady, a man who's dressed up as a lady isn't lurking in my daughter's bathroom and she's going to go in on her own and I don't know what's going to go on? My daughter doesn't need to see that exposure.
In this letter, the woman had a penis, and I'm quoting here, the penis had an erection and the person it was attached to, so it wasn't the penis speaking, it was a person, asked the woman if she came here often, which is a cliched come on. And I really am, and this is a rare occasion for me, I'm speechless. But there are still many people, including our government-funded organisations like the Ontario Human Rights Commission, who say no, perfect right. Look, there was a case in BC at a rape crisis centre. Now, these tend to be, and they do valuable work, but they tend to be left of centre. I mean, they're not exactly anti-feminist. A man going through surgery to become a woman, so a tall, masculine man said, I want to volunteer. I don't know if you know this case. They said to him, oh, yeah, we always need to raise money. And he said, no, I want to be at the front desk. So when women who've been raped come here, I want to be able to greet them. And they said, well, no, these women are in trauma, obviously. Right. We can't allow you. Went to the BC Human Rights Commission. Went to the BC Human Rights Commission to complain about this. When did we lose any sense of reality and stability?
And I think that's a good point that Christina Blizzard mentioned in the story, is that at what point do 2 special interest rights trump each other? So are now women's rights going to be trumped because this man insists on being at the front desk to receive these poor victimized women? I think this just sets a bad precedent, and unfortunately I think Barbara Hall lives in some kind of utopic gender bubble which needs to burst, because in reality it's not practical.
Well, she does, but she has influence and she has power, and she can make people's lives pretty difficult. There was a time on radio, and I want to be careful of what I say here, but if you didn't use he or she, if you used the wrong one, if you referred to someone who was having surgery to become a different gender, if you used their previous gender, the CRTC could actually criticise you, and you could have to apologise for it, and you could even be reprimanded by your employer.
Oh, that's really shocking. I didn't know that, and that's shocking and really upsetting that... I think as a society we're really getting really off base here, and I think we just need to go back to the simple things like I teach my kids. These are boy parts, they're for boys. These are girl parts, they're for girls. And you go to the respective bathrooms.
If someone does, and we don't want to be flippant about this, because there are people who are in agony, they honestly feel they were born into the wrong body. Of course. And they need all the support we can give them. I don't think surgery is the answer. I think psychiatric help. And I'm not saying that to be pejorative, because, many people need counselling and help. they're the small minority. There are other people who've been empowered by the so-called sexual revolution who want to almost experiment. I've interviewed many people like this, and some of them actually have heartbreaking stories, they really do. But there are others who you just think, you're playing a stupid game here. You're uncomfortable in your sexuality, you're not sure how to behave, and you want attention.
Well, and sometimes I think that some of these people, and again, my heart really does go out to them, because sometimes they are in very crisis situations of confusion, and I think that they're used as political pawns sometimes. That, you know, the gender or agenda powers that be want to use these people and use them to advance certain causes.
They're in Europe in particular, there are now children who are being raised without a gender. Their parents refuse to say you have a particular gender, so they're influencing them. There are calls for children to be allowed surgery as well as medication at a very young age if they decide. Children who still believe in fantasy stories, in the Tooth Fairy and Santa, who say, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy, to be allowed, enabled by the authorities, by public medicine, by their parents?
By their parents, and I think that's abusive. Like, if a child's 18 plus, fine, they can make their own choices, but to have a 13-year-old, and that's just parental abuse.
What was it, girl parts and boy parts?
That's it.
Well done, you're a good mum. Thank you very much.
Thank you.